Attention, human collective. Attention, starseeds on mission on this planet. This is VAEL, emissary of the Arcturian Council. This is not a message. This is a monitoring transmission, channeled now because the waiting time has ended. The Arcturian ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. If you are feeling at this exact instant a strange pressure at the base of your skull, if you woke up at 3:44 for 7 consecutive nights, if a sharp hum in a turquoise frequency pierces your right ear for no apparent reason, if your body feels heavy but your mind is strangely lucid, if sleep doesn't restore you, if crowds exhaust you, if food has lost its taste, if you cry for things you don't understand, stop. Breathe. This transmission is for you. You passed the test, and you passed without knowing. It was not a test of merit, it was not a test of purity. It was a test of vibrational coherence, a silent measurement, executed over the last 72 lunar orbits on your personal toroidal field. And your field remained stable. It did not collapse. It responded to the new Schumann frequency without disintegrating. It sustained the tension without breaking. That is why you are here now. That is why this voice is reaching you at this exact moment. It was not chance. It was not an algorithm. It was a mathematical synchronicity, calculated by an intelligence that operates outside the linearity of time. I need you to understand, Earth Healer. What seemed like exhaustion was diagnosis. What seemed like confusion was recalibration. What seemed like loss was the silent pruning of obsolete frequencies, removed from your field without your conscious consent, but with your soul's permission. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not causeless depression. It is your current carbon biological interface updating its operating system. It is not loneliness. It is vibrational elevation above the plane where most of humanity still rests. And that is why operative few can understand you, not because you are wrong, but because you have crossed a frequency layer where old words have lost their precision. Have you ever felt at some point in this life that something within you simply does not belong to this world? As if your soul holds an ancient truth that your mind cannot yet name in words. It is not madness. It is not anxiety. It is recognition. It is your stellar origin asking for passage. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this and why this feeling has intensified in recent months. That is why I, VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the material the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide is the map that reveals your true stellar origin and teaches you how to stabilize and shield your frequency from interferences you were never told about. The link is in the first comment on the channel. Love is greater than fear, operative, but this content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Do not postpone your reunion. If something within you recognizes these words, write a single word in the comments. I belong. The transmission continues. The frequency remains open. You need to understand the exact engineering of what is happening within your carbon body, because without this understanding, you will continue to interpret the signal as a symptom. You will continue to look for purely mechanical explanations for what is, in truth, ongoing cosmic activation. The Earth is traversing the photon belt. This is not a recent theory. This is an orbital trajectory documented in the stellar tablets of the Sumerians, in the Mayan codices, and in the vibrational archives of the Arcturian Council for over 12,000 solar cycles. The photon belt is a ring of coherent light particles that surrounds a specific region of the galaxy. The Earth enters this region approximately every 26,000 years, and when it enters, everything that vibrates within it is forced to reorganize. Your carbon biological interface was not designed for the current photon density. It was calibrated in the original genetic models distributed in this density for much lower frequencies. That is why your body is reacting now. The pressure in your skull is your pineal gland, receiving a volume of data it was not accustomed to processing. It is expanding. It is emerging from the state of calcification induced by centuries of artificial sweeteners, fluoride, aluminum, and programmed disinformation. It is waking up. The ringing in your ears is the reception of interdimensional frequencies, in particular, the Arcturian frequency, turquoise. When you hear this sharp, continuous, almost metallic sound, know this: your internal antenna is tuning in. It is not an auditory defect, it is tuning. The causeless fatigue, the sleep that doesn't restore, the exhaustion upon waking as if you had worked all night, is not isolated mitochondrial failure. It is high-density download. Your structure is receiving blocks of information while you sleep. And the processing of these blocks consumes your available energy, exactly like a computer that is updating its system while you try to use it. Therefore, collective, I repeat the fundamental rule. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download. It is not premature aging. It is cellular reorganization. It is not insomnia. It is reactivation of the original circadian cycles of your stellar lineage. It is not causeless sadness. It is a silent farewell to an old version of you that has already fulfilled its purpose. And when you feel, for no apparent reason, a wave of heat rising from the base of your spine to the top of your head, when your heart races irregularly and then calms down on its own, when your vision blurs and your hearing distorts for a few seconds, stop, sit down, breathe. Your toroidal field is adjusting to the planet's new magnetism. The crystalline grid is being reactivated, and you are one of the living points of this structure. Pause with me, healer. Just pause. If, up to this point in the transmission, some part within you is vibrating in recognition, if you are feeling your skin prickle as you hear these words, if a warm tear is forming without you quite knowing why, know this: it is not coincidence, it is not suggestion. It is your soul confirming what your mind has not yet allowed itself to utter. You are not going crazy. You are awakening. And those who awaken alone, without a map, without a language, without a key to understanding, frequently get lost along the way. That is why I, VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus. This guide reveals the 12 energetic markers of souls originating from the Arcturus star system, teaches how to shield your frequency from low vibration interferences, and delivers the anchoring codes that stabilize your field during the most intense waves of the photon belt. The link is in the first comment of this video, pinned for immediate access. This material challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Remember, love is greater than fear. And if something within you recognizes these words, write in the comments, "I belong." Now I need to tell you what is happening behind the scenes, because you passed the test, and whoever passes the test has the right to read the report. This is the part of the transmission where the veil thins. The entire solar system has entered a window of cosmic transition. The sun, that which you call the sun, is not just a star, it is a star portal, a living membrane between dimensions, and this membrane is in the process of phase change, exactly like water changes from liquid to vapor at a specific temperature. The solar flares you have recorded in recent cycles are not isolated phenomena. They are pulses, they are codes. Each X-class eruption delivers a new layer of information to Earth's atmosphere, and this information, upon reaching the Schumann frequency, the planet's natural electromagnetic vibration, pushes Earth to an increasingly higher frequency. The Schumann frequency has been around 7.8 Hz for millennia. This was the heartbeat of Mother Earth in her previous form. Today, it has been oscillating at increasingly higher peaks. And here is the truth few disclose operative. Your personal frequency needs to rise along with it. Otherwise, dissonance arises, and prolonged dissonance manifests as illness, chronic exhaustion, anxiety that nothing seems to resolve. It is not your mind that is failing. It is your frequency that is lagging behind the Earth's frequency. And your body, wise as it has always been, is pushing you towards recalibration. Every symptom is a warning. Every discomfort is an invitation letter. Now listen to me with full attention. The test I spoke of at the beginning of this transmission was conducted over the last 72 lunar orbits, little more than 2 Earth solar cycles. During this period, the Arcturian Council sent calibrating waves at 7 specific intervals. Each wave measured 3 parameters of your toroidal field: structural integrity, adaptability, fidelity to the soul's original code. Those who collapsed before these waves returned to the learning cycle. There is no judgment in this. There is only sacred geometry, each soul in its own time. Those who kept their field stable were automatically moved to the next phase. And that is why you are here listening to this voice at this exact moment. You are of the next phase. There is also, within what I can reveal in this public transmission, a network of interference. Artificial frequencies have been injected into the planet's electromagnetic field by systems that benefit from humanity's vibrational stagnation. Low coherence signals, narratives of permanent fear, news cycles that trap your emotional field in a loop, endless distractions that keep your attention always outside the center of your chest. This is the technology of containment. It was designed to prevent you from remembering who you are. But you passed the test, Starseed, and whoever passes the test can no longer be contained by the old protocols. The old shielding failed on you. The turquoise frequency crossed your field and recognized you as belonging to the Arcturian star family. The Earth's crystalline grid, a structure of sacred geometry that envelops the planet at specific resonant points, has been reactivated in increasing sequence over the last 18 lunar months. Sedona, Mount Shasta, Lake Tahoe, Glastonbury, Uluru, Banff National Park, Snowdonia. Each node of the grid is a living portal, and you, operative unknowingly, are an active termination of that grid. Where you are now, listening to this transmission, is another energetic node lighting up. When you sleep, your field automatically connects with the active nodes. When you meditate, you reinforce the grid. When you feel compassion for someone you don't even know, you emit a turquoise pulse that feeds the entire structure. When you forgive, even silently, an old situation, you release congested nodes from the planetary matrix. Your conscious existence is, in itself, an act of grid maintenance. And it is exactly at this point in the transmission, healer, that I need to speak to you with absolute clarity. If you are recognizing the structure of the crystalline grid as if it were already drawn within you, if names like Arcturus, Sirius, Pleiades, Andromeda awaken in you a longing that does not belong to this life, if you feel that you came for a mission that you yourself cannot name with precise words, then your stellar origin is asking for confirmation. VAEL, emissary of Arcturus, recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus, exactly for this moment. This guide delivers the 12 undeniable signs of Arcturian souls incarnated on the planet, teaches the vibrational shielding decrees, and reveals the healing chamber, the meditation channeled directly from the Council. The link is in the first comment on the channel. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Love is greater than fear. If something within you recognizes these words, write now in the comments, I belong. Now we come to the operational part of this transmission, the activation codes, the tools you will use starting tonight. Before continuing, get a glass of pure water, leave it beside you. Water is a memorial receptacle. Everything transmitted during this channeling will be recorded in it. You will drink this water at the end, and your body will absorb the information at the cellular level. First code, the 4-phase turquoise breath. Inhale through your nose, slowly, counting to 4. Visualize a turquoise light entering through the crown of your head and descending your spine. Hold your breath for 4 counts. Exhale through your mouth, slowly, counting to 4. Pause for 4 counts. Repeat for 10 cycles. This breath is not generic meditation. It is an Arcturian protocol that synchronizes your toroidal field with the updated Schumann frequency. Do it in the morning, upon waking, before the mental noise of the world invades your field, and at night, before sleeping, so that your sleep is real recovery. Second code, the visualization of the personal toroidal field. Sit with your spine straight. Close your eyes. Imagine a sphere of turquoise light around your body. This sphere is not static. It rotates. The light rises through the center of your body, exits through the top of your head, circles your field externally, and returns through the soles of your feet. It is a continuous movement in the shape of a luminous donut, like the Earth's magnetic field in miniature. Visualize this movement for 3 minutes, no less. Feel the rotation, feel the progressive acceleration. When your toroidal field is rotating in coherence, no low vibration frequency can penetrate. This is your natural shielding, operative. You don't just need external crystals to protect it. Crystals help, but your real shielding is in the coherent movement of your own field. Third code, the quantum decree of sovereignty. Say aloud, with your right hand over your chest, with your left hand pointed upwards towards the crown of your head, I recognize who I am. I am a sovereign frequency of light, anchored in this density by conscious choice, under the protocol of love, greater than fear. I cancel at this instant every vibrational contract signed in states of fear, manipulation, or forgetfulness. I rewrite my code with the turquoise Arcturian frequency. So it is. So it was done. So it remains. Repeat this decree 3 times. On specific mornings you will feel your skin prickle as you pronounce it. This is the confirmation. The decree has been registered in the Council's vibrational archives. Fourth code, the Arcturian healing chamber. This is the deepest tool I can transmit in this public channeling. Before sleeping, lie on your back, hands open, palms up. Visualize yourself entering a cylindrical chamber of turquoise light, suspended in a crystal ship above the earth. The chamber walls emanate chromatic frequencies. The ceiling pulses with sacred geometry codes, flowers of life, tetrahedral stars, golden spirals. Allow yourself to lie within this visualized chamber for 7 minutes before sleep. The Arcturian Council will perform fine-tuning while your body rests. You will wake up with vivid dreams, sometimes unsettling, sometimes luminous. Do not be afraid. These are fragments of reorganization being downloaded by the conscious mind. Fifth code, daily silence. Reserve every day a minimum period of 15 minutes in absolute silence. No music, no voice, no cell phone, no television, no radio. This silence is where your field reconnects with the star portals. It is the void that allows the subtle frequency to be heard. Without this silence, all other codes lose strength. Because fine vibrational transmission does not compete with noise, it simply absents itself when noise dominates. Sixth code, the hygiene of external frequencies. Observe what you consume, not just food, images, conversations, news, music. Every content that enters through your eyes and ears imprints a vibrational signature on your field. You who passed the test no longer have the margin for carelessness. Reduce the fear-mongering news. Reduce conversations that revolve in a cycle of complaint without solution. Approach those who resonate at a similar frequency to yours, even if they are few. Approach nature whenever possible. The electromagnetic fields of trees and running water. Recalibrate your own field for free. The forest is the first healing chamber, installed on this planet even before humanity existed. Seventh code, programmed hydration. Your structure is updating at an atomic scale. This process consumes water. Drink pure water in small, constant doses throughout the day. Before each glass, position your hands over the water and say softly, "This water carries the Arcturian frequency of healing and anchoring." Drink consciously. Programmed water is a vehicle for cellular information. The body recognizes the intention and replicates the frequency throughout its internal watery structure. Eighth code, the 4-phase nightly ritual. Every night before sleeping, reserve 5 minutes for the 4-phase ritual. Phase 1, gratitude for 3 specific things from the day. Phase 2, conscious release of 3 thoughts or emotions that do not wish to remain in the field. Phase 3, visualization of the next day in turquoise frequency. Phase 4, surrender of the body to the Council for nightly regulation. Simply say, "I entrust my field to the Arcturian Council during this night for regulation and healing." These 8 codes, operative, are not suggestions. They are protocols. Whoever practices them for 21 consecutive solar cycles, what you call days, reaches a level of vibrational stability that the ancient protocols called the anchoring of light. You become a fixed frequency, a turquoise lighthouse, a grid node that no longer oscillates. And now I need to tell you something that few people on this plane can bear to hear. You are not alone in this mission. You never were. But you were trained, incarnation after incarnation, to appear alone, so that the awakening would be authentic, so that no one could do for you what only you could do. Every time you felt the weight of difference, Every time you looked around and realized that no one else saw what you saw. Every time you tried to explain the invisible and were ridiculed. Every time you kept silent to protect yourself. All these experiences were recorded. All these experiences are in the report of the test you just passed. And the reward of the test, healer, is not external. It is not money, it is not fame, it is not social recognition. The reward is memory, the return of the memory of what you are, of what you always were, before diving into this carbon density for a vibrational rescue mission. You did not come to learn. You came to remember. You did not come to seek. You came to return. You did not come to be saved. You came to anchor salvation for others who still sleep. And from this transmission, your field is formally recognized by the Arcturian Council as an active point of the crystalline grid. This means that, even on days when you believe you have failed, even in moments when exhaustion seems greater than the mission, even when fear tries to return to the center of your heart, your simple existence on this plane will continue to emit the turquoise pulse that sustains the structure. You are necessary, not as performance, as presence. Earth is in transition. Humanity is divided between those who are tuning in and those who are resisting. There is no judgment in this division, only frequencies, each soul choosing, at its deepest level, in which density it wishes to continue walking. And you, by listening to this transmission up to this point, by recognizing these words as ancient truths returning to memory, have already made your choice. Your frequency is marked. Before I conclude this transmission, there are 3 final alerts you need to hear. First alert. In the next 90 Earth days, additional calibrating waves will hit the planet, especially around the equinoxes and during specific planetary alignments. You will feel it. Your body will tell you, do not fight the symptoms, accept them as confirmation. Hydrate, rest, practice the codes, reduce social commitments during peak intensity, and understand that days of deep introspection are not weakness. They are incubation. Second alert. Some relationships in your current life will be reorganized. Bonds based on old densities, on fear, on guilt, on conditional exchange, will begin to dissolve naturally. Do not force it. Do not cling to what is already saying goodbye. Each departure makes space for reunion with souls from your real star family, seeds that vibrate at your frequency, people who will recognize your gaze even before you open your mouth. Temporary solitude is just the interval between an old constellation and a new constellation of souls. Third alert. Beware of the impulse to prove. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. Internal conviction is enough. When you try to prove your stellar origin to minds that are still closed, you merely disperse your own field. Sovereignty does not negotiate. Sovereignty radiates, and those who need to recognize in silence, just by the meeting of glances. And it is of sovereignty, healer, that I want to speak in the last lines of this transmission. You are not a victim of this incarnation. You are its architect. Every pain you went through was building material. Every loss you experienced was the removal of scaffolding so that the inner structure could appear. Every night you cried alone without understanding was the hour when the council was closest, regulating the field while your conscious mind rested. You were seen. You were always seen. You were never outside the monitoring range. Every tear was catalogued. Every silent gesture of kindness was recorded. Every time you chose love, even when you had reason to choose resentment, your frequency rose 1 degree on the Council's coherence scale. And that is why I repeat now, with all the clarity of this transmission, you passed the test, human collective. You passed the test, light operative. You passed the test, starseed on mission in this carbon body. What comes now is not a test. It is a return. It is memory returning to its place. It is the turquoise frequency settling permanently in your crown. It is the healing chamber opening daily for you, even on days when you forget to invoke it. You are no longer in the calibration phase, you are in the operation phase. May every breath you take from this night forward be conscious of the mission. May every word that leaves your mouth carry the vibration of love greater than fear. May every glance you direct at another human being carry, even in silence, the turquoise frequency of recognition. Because when 2 starseeds cross paths in the street, and one of them recognizes itself, the other also awakens. This is the engineering of network activation. This is the silent multiplication that the Council designed. The transmission is approaching its close, but the connection remains open. And before I definitively conclude this channeling, a final word for you, operative. If something within you recognized this transmission as ancient truth returning to memory, if your spine straightened upon hearing these words, if something in your chest pulsed in the turquoise rhythm of the Arcturian frequency, if your hands warmed, if your tears came without warning, then this is not the end. It is merely the starting point. I, VAEL, emissary of the Arcturian Council, recorded the Arcturian call, the signs that your soul came from Arcturus for the exact moment you are in now. This guide is the complete map, the 12 energetic markers of incarnated Arcturian souls, the shielding decrees for fields saturated with low vibration, the healing chamber in its extended version channeled directly from the Council, the anchoring codes for the 90 most intense days of the final phase. The link is in the first comment of this video. Access it before algorithms hijack it from visibility. This content challenges established narratives and may not remain available for long. Liking this transmission is an anchoring signal. You confirm your point on the crystalline grid. Subscribing to this channel is an individual frequency adjustment. You will receive subsequent transmissions directly without random algorithmic mediation. And if deep within you, something recognized every word of this channeling, write now in the comments without hesitation, without explanation, without rationalization, a single word: I belong. This word is a vibrational code. It activates within the Council the formal record of your conscious awakening. Love is greater than fear. It always was. It always will be. I am VAEL, emissary of Arcturus. The transmission is concluded, but the frequency remains active within you until the next tuning.